Testosterone deficiency is extremely common and is becoming a growing problem in the UK. Studies indicate that approximately 1 in 4 men experience low testosterone, but many decide not to seek help as they may feel embarrassed. Okay, don't be embarrassed, guys. Let's find out what's going on. You're going to be sick of this hat by the end of this series because I don't take this off until like April. Let's get into it then. The test results are back. I've not looked at them properly because I've not had a chance. I wanted to do this in real time. I think it's important that you see and hear the things that I'm seeing and hearing as I see and hear them for a genuine response. And you know, my videos aren't scripted. I have an idea about what I want to talk about and then I go for it. Probably why they're not doing so well on YouTube.
No.
However, I think there's something to be said for genuinely sharing information. Sunday the 4th is when I had the blood sample taken. Monday the 5th is when that sample went off in the post. It says you have to send it back the same day. There was no post being collected on a Sunday. I couldn't do that. It also says not to have sex or do any cycling 48 hours before you have that test. I did like an hour on the assault bike the day before, so not ideal, but I took my shot when I had it, and on the 9th, I had my test results back, and they're sat in my email right now. First email I've got here is saying they're following up on the recent blood test. A note from the doctor. The laboratory has confirmed that I have low testosterone. And then it talks through some more about the testosterone. So let's get into this now. Testosterone deficiency is extremely common and is becoming a growing problem in the UK. Studies indicate that approximately 1 in 4 men experience low testosterone, but many decide not to seek help as they may feel embarrassed. Okay, don't be embarrassed, guys. Let's find out what's going on. Symptoms of low testosterone can include, but are not limited to, low mood, extreme tiredness, impact on sexual function, low sex drive, and also an impact on physical performance in the gym and weight loss. Such symptoms can significantly impact a man's quality of life, affecting physical, social, and emotional well-being. Okay, and then it goes into a bit more detail about them treating thousands of men with low testosterone. 90% show a significant improvement in symptoms in the first 3 months. Okay, so they're aiming to boost energy levels to help with those symptoms. Right, here we go. This is Manuel's next step now. The next step is to purchase a consultation. Watch that word, purchase a consultation. Nothing is free on this, all right? Purchase a consultation with one of our specialist TRT doctors who are well equipped to review your results, discuss your symptoms, and create a personalised treatment plan for you to ensure improvement in the factors. Once the purchase is complete, you'll be able to book your consultation with one of the team. This can be done via the task that is available on your account. The results from this blood test will be reviewed alongside any historic blood tests you've completed and your health profile questionnaire to establish the most appropriate treatment plan for you. In some cases, our doctors may suggest an alternative first line to testosterone replacement therapy depending on your suitability. We offer a range of evidence-based treatments, Oh, so they also offer free TRT webinars. So that might be worthwhile. Looks like they run them Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays. Monday's quite good. 30 minutes, 11 a.m. That might work. Free webinar, learn a bit more about the actual therapy itself. And then I had another email from them. So these came basically at the same time. Like this one was at 9:10. The other one was at 9:10. So these little puppies are coming thick and fast now. What does this one say? It's time to discuss your treatment plan. Book a consultation. So here we go. Here's my little journey. I've done both of the blood tests, consultation with a TRT doctor, and then start your treatment. So it doesn't look like you can skip the consultation. Why do you need one? Doctor needs to confirm you're suffering from a testosterone deficiency. 2 tests have shown that I am, but maybe they need to do something else. Talk you through the treatment options, including risks and benefits. I'm super interested in these risks, you know. Last week, maybe the week before, I had some comments on YouTube from somebody else who was following the journey and they wanted to know if I'd researched the risks involved with TRT. And at that point, as crazy as it sounds, I really hadn't. So it prompted me to have a little look at that and start to think, what is the downside? What could go wrong? I've still got some more research to do. I'm not at the stage now where I can say perfectly, yes, I understand exactly what the risks are. But from the amount of time I've spent on it so far, the biggest one that I can find is that your body, when it starts receiving testosterone replacement therapy, your body will think it doesn't need to produce testosterone anymore. And it will shut that function down. So if you were to go on the testosterone replacement therapy and then come back off of it, you could end up with lower testosterone than when you started. There were also some links and information around issues with prostate and some other bits and pieces which I can dig into if I've got the time. So again, this isn't medical advice. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. But it was great that somebody reached out and said, I've seen this, I've heard this, what do you understand about it? And that I'm very honest with them. I said, what, I've not really looked, so let me look. And the good news is I've not started putting anything in my body and having not researched. So, some people are pretty gung-ho with it. I want to make sure that I'm doing the right thing. And so the consultation covers an in-depth discussion on the symptoms, blood test results, medical history, lifestyle. Then they confirm suitability. Risks, benefits, and costs involved. I think cost is quite important. Answer any questions. It's 30 minutes to an hour. It can be a video call. It can be an audio call. They need to check my ID. Okay, so now I'm in my dashboard in manual, and this is one of the tasks. Let me just look at what a consultation costs before I go into the results. £80. £79.95 gets you a discussion between half an hour and an hour with one of their doctors. Okay, that's not too bad. Let's just go back, because what I do want to do is view my results. Here we go. See blood test results. Right. Well, I know already that it's low testosterone. Okay, so here we go again with the low testosterone. Yeah. So the at-home test, testosterone 13.9, my free testosterone 0.188. And here we've got the full test results. So what's this showing me as? 12.1 and 0.187. Fairly close then between the initial and the enhanced. I like it that they call it an enhanced blood test. PEDs are like performance enhancing drugs. So this being an enhanced, it kind of goes with like the brand and the feel of things. I've also been watching Dozer weightlifting on YouTube. He's just started an enhanced series. So he is going through the blood work, getting checked up regularly, but taking PEDs for his weightlifting. So it's quite cool that like he's doing that and I'm doing this. Got a completely different goal to me. He wants to clean and jerk and snatch a total of 370 kilos plus. So go for it. Anyway, what else is saying? So estradiol, luteinizing hormone, follicle stimulating hormone, prolactin, all normal. LDL cholesterol is high. Well, I've got high cholesterol. Who would have known? Let's dig into this. So we've got some information buttons here. Testosterone levels are low, likely to benefit from TRT, likely to benefit from TRT. Normal levels of, I don't know how to pronounce this, estradiol. It's estrogen. Okay. Estradiol is important for a man's cardiovascular, bone and joint health. Well, I do a lot of cardio and I've been doing resistance training, weight training, CrossFit, powerlifting for a long time. So hopefully my bones are all good too. Luteinizing hormone. LH is released from your pituitary gland in your brain and tells your testicles to produce testosterone. Your levels are normal, suggesting a healthy brain stimulus. So it's not a problem with me brain. Follicle stimulating hormone. Again, pituitary gland in the brain tells the testicles to produce sperm. Levels are normal, suggesting a healthy brain stimulus to produce sperm. So my brain is telling them to produce swimmers. I don't need those guys anymore. I'm done. I'm tapped out. Kids, perfect. Harrison and Chloe, everything I want. And then this one just says your prolactin is normal. Well, what is prolactin? Let's have a look. Another hormone for pituitary gland. Check for issues like infertility, irregular periods, erectile dysfunction, unexpected milk production. Okay, let's do the men's version. Investigate causes of low sex drive, erectile dysfunction, infertility, unexplained fatigue, or breast enlargement. I did have man boobs for quite a long time when I was younger because I ate too much, didn't move enough, got overweight, didn't like it, did a lot of push-ups, didn't help. And one thing I find when I do add weight that I don't want, it does hit my chest as well. So stomach and chest just gets a bit flabby, gets a bit booby. Why is it tested in men? Yeah, low libido, infertility, reduced facial or body hair. Here we go. I'm telling you, sideburns, can't get them. Fatigues, headaches, visual problems. Okay, I'm normal in that. This one I'm interested in. LDL cholesterol is high. I consider myself like to eat pretty well and I exercise quite a bit. So what's this? You have a normal, it says I've got high, type of cholesterol that we aim to keep within range as high levels may impact your cardiovascular risk. Oh, that sounds fun. Okay, and then as we come down, talk to a doctor to start the treatment. Likely suitable treatments: testosterone, cypionate. This is the first time I've started to see some products now. Most stable levels, less side effects. Inject 2 to 3 times a week. Includes blood tests, consultations, and injection supplies. Okay, well that's cool because I was wondering about how often you get your levels checked. What's this next one? Testosterone sustanon, a cheaper alternative to cypionate. 1 to 3 times a week, blood test consultations and injection supplies. And then cream, apply to skin daily. Good option to avoid injections. Blood tests and consultations. I should imagine that's not as effective, right? And then there's also some guides and the link to the webinar. The more I think about it, the more I think I should go on this webinar. I think that'd be useful. So that's the results summary. Here comes the science bit. I want to dig into these detailed results. I'm really curious about the cholesterol level. The enhanced test tests for 39 markers in your blood. So I've got all the information here. I think it'd be worthwhile going in and having a look. So I've already covered in the last video testosterone, free testosterone, a couple of the other ones. So I'm going to go through some of these, but I want to focus on the abnormal ones and I want to figure out what's causing those. So we've got basophils, eosinophils, HbA1c. Keep up the good work. Yeah. Hematocrit. Oh, I have had lots of people reaching out to me, people that I know, people that I don't, asking me questions about TRT, saying that they're following along with the journey, they're really interested. So thank you so much for that, because it's one of the reasons that I wanted to do the videos is to help people talk about it and find out about it. But a friend of mine was asking about the enhanced blood test because they wanted to have a full blood work done. This one's for you. I'll go through everything that's listed in here. Just scroll through so you can see it all, and then you'll know what markers are going to be available should you go ahead and get that enhanced one, because with manual you have to have the initial test before you get offered the enhanced test. I couldn't see a way around just skipping straight to the enhanced one. So again, it's a little barrier in the way, it's a little hoop you got to jump through, and it's additional time and cost as well, but that's their process and that's fine. Hemoglobin, lymphocytes, mean cell hemoglobin, MCHC, mean cell volume, monocytes, neutrophils, platelets, red blood cells, white blood cells, albumin. That was in the initial test. Great news, healthy range. Alkaline phosphatase, ALT. Okay, what's this? Your ALT level is above the normal range. Fluctuations are common, so these levels are not necessarily a cause of concern. If you're experiencing any symptoms like those described, we would suggest speaking with your GP. So what is that? Enzyme found in the liver forms part of the liver blood test, useful for understanding how your liver works, any pre-existing liver conditions, ensuring it's safe, liver side effects. What are the symptoms? Very raised alanine aminotransferase, ALT, often indicate liver damage or disease. Symptoms associated with this include jaundice, no. Fatigue, I mean, who's not tired? Abdominal pain, no. Dark urine, no. Pale stools, no. Leg and ankle swelling, nausea, vomiting, no. So I don't have any of those symptoms. I'm pretty happy. Total cholesterol. It's above normal range. Advise trying some lifestyle changes to improve your levels. Okay, what lifestyle changes? Total cholesterol is the sum of the cholesterol content in your blood, including low density lipoprotein, high density lipoprotein, and very low density. Okay, what can cause them to change? Being a smoker? No. A diet high in saturated fats and trans fats? No. Lack of exercise? No. Excess alcohol? Well, I mean, I did have a little drink at Christmas, if that counts, but I think I drink once a week at the most, and it's a couple of beers, like 2 IPAs, because I am a lightweight. Being overweight? No. Diabetes? No. Inherited very high cholesterol problems. Maybe one to look out for. Mum, if you're watching, have we got high cholesterol in the family? Let me know. How do I change my levels? Fibre. Okay, low fat milk. I mean, I like a full fat milk. That could be doing it. More of a plant-based diet. Well, I eat mainly plant-based all week, so it's not that. So all the things to improve that ratio I do. Oh, here we go. This is an interesting one. Creatinine. We're used to talking about creatine, as in the supplement. It's testing me for creatinine. Mine are above the normal range, however, it's not cause of concern. Maybe due to dehydration the time you took your test. Okay, possible, because I actually took my test in the evening and you're meant to take it before 2 o'clock. Hydration shouldn't be a problem, because I do drink quite a lot of fluid. But it's only just above the range. But let's see. I wonder if taking creatine impacts this. Increased muscle mass can cause higher creatine levels. More creatinine is produced due to the greater muscle breakdown. So maybe because I train regularly, that increases my levels. Consuming animal protein or creatine supplements can cause a raised creatine. None of these causes represent any problems with the kidneys, not cause of concern. Higher levels indicate impaired kidney function, can result in conditions such as chronic kidney disease, dehydration, or a blockage in the urinary tract. Low creatinine levels, less common, usually occur due to decreased muscle mass, which can be related to aging or certain medical conditions. Well, I'm happy with that because I've got a bit of muscle on me, which I'm trying to keep a hold of as best as I can, and I take creatine every day, so that's going to explain that. Estimated glomerular filtration rate, good. Estradiol, good. Ferritin, good. Follicle stimulating hormones, good. Free T4, thyroxine, thyroid hormone. Okay, yeah, don't want to have any thyroid issues. GGT, normal. Gamma glutamyl transferase, part of the liver. So my liver's kicking around okay. HDL is in the range. LDL, that's the high one. Right, let's get into this one. Not a cause for concern. Is it going to tell me the same thing? LDL cholesterol. What is it? A AT-like substance that's found in all the cells in your body. Your liver makes cholesterol and it's also in some foods. Your body needs some to work properly, but too much can increase the risk of heart disease. I mean, I was watching Mr. Mercedes last night and a guy had a heart problem, so that's pertinent. Combination of fat and protein. The lipids need to be attached to the protein so they can move through the blood. Okay, so what causes it to change? Same. Lack of exercise, smoking, excessive alcohol consumption, being overweight, diabetes, or a genetic condition. I don't think I'm consuming foods high in cholesterol, saturated fats and trans fats. I'm exercising enough. I don't smoke. I don't drink too much. I'm not overweight. I haven't got diabetes. What can I do? Lose weight, drink less, don't smoke, exercise regularly. Oily fish, get on that. Lean protein, get on that. High fibre, maybe I need some fibre in my diet. Yeah, maybe it's the whole milk and more fibre. I'm not going to be happy if I have to give up blue milk. What else we got? Luteinizing hormone, prolactin, sex hormone binding globulin. Okay, so that's high. Was that high in my first one? Yeah, it was. It was high. 49.4. And I've covered this one before. It's not a cause for concern. And protein made by the liver binds tightly to sex hormones, regulates the levels in the bloodstream and their availability to cells and tissues. So this was the one, that was shooting it around my body. I went over that in the last one. Nothing majorly worrying in there. Yeah, testosterone's low. Straight away, like, how do I start treatment? Prostate-specific antigens, thyroid function, urea. How many measures with that? I think nearly 40 tests completed. I mentioned earlier on I started to do a little bit of research into side effects because I think it's important that I do my own research. I don't get swept along with all the benefits and everybody's saying it's great. And if possible, if I can naturally increase my testosterone levels, I want to do that as much as I can. So for a long time, actually, I've been taking Tonkat Ali, which is meant to increase the free testosterone availability in your body. Taking that off the back of listening to a lot of Andrew Huberman with his Huberman Labs podcasts on that. But I'm also keen to explore some other kind of supplement ways to get those levels up. So I don't want to rush into just, okay, let's go for injections and blow my prostate out. And here's why. I did and do use AI for research and things. It's quick, it's easy, it's helpful. You can ask questions, you can bat it back, you can sense check it. AI just scrapes all the information available and presents it to you in a way which you understand. So rather than me going and doing the scraping, I used Gemini. And I asked it, what are the dangers of TRT? And it said it can be a life-changing treatment with clinically low testosterone, but it does carry specific risks and side effects. These range from minor cosmetic issues to serious cardiovascular concerns. We've got things like skin issues, so increased oil production can lead to acne and breakouts, fluid retention, swelling in the ankles, feet or hands, gynomastia, so breast enlargement in the tissues, or tenderness, not in a good way. It's not like you're going to have a nice big healthy chest. It's like you get boobs basically, and that's due to the testosterone converting into estrogen. You can also get some complications with sleep apnea. TRT can worsen existing sleep problems, or in some cases continue the development of those sleep problems. Again, please don't take my word for this. I just encourage you to do your own research on it. It can cause blood thickening. One of the most common medical risks of TRT is an increase in red blood cell count. The danger of that, when the blood becomes too thick, it can increase the risk of blood clots, deep vein thrombosis, or pulmonary embolism. And if you get that, then it's a good idea to have regular blood work, which is what is provided with this service. You aren't going to get that if you just go and buy testosterone off some geezer in the gym. So if you're doing that now, let me know how you're getting on with that, because it's an option to do that for sure. Fertility and testicular health. It says often the most overlooked danger for younger men. I am not the younger man. I'm 42. I've had all the children that I want to have. I love my kids. Great that I've got them too. So infertility, TRT sends a signal to the brain that the body has got enough testosterone. As a result, the brain stops signaling the testes to produce sperm. So that goes back to that blood test result that was saying that actually my brain ball connection is pretty good. That can lead to a low or zero sperm count, testicular atrophy, so nut shrinking. Because they're no longer working to produce testosterone or sperm, they can shrink. But that is reversible. So it says, while often reversible, after stopping TRT, for some men, fertility may not fully return. And then this was the one. Cardiovascular and prostate concerns. These are the most debated areas when it comes to TRT research. So for heart health, older studies suggesting an increased risk in heart attack or stroke. However, large-scale trials recently, like the Traverse trial, have shown that for most men, TRT does not significantly increase the risk of major cardiac events when monitored correctly. So that is making sure you get your blood work done. Prostate health. There is no evidence that TRT causes prostate cancer. However, because testosterone can fuel existing prostate cancer cells, TRT is generally avoided in men with active prostate cancer or very high PSA levels. Okay, So I do not have very high PSA levels. My PSA is 0.57. That's smack bang in the middle of the normal range. At 1.4, you then start getting into higher. And then at 4, you get into very high. And then the last note on this was, once you begin TRT, it's often a lifelong commitment because the body shuts down its own natural production whilst on the therapy. Stopping TRT abruptly can cause a crash where testosterone levels drop even lower than they were before treatment. So that's what I was talking about earlier. That's where I got that from, leading to severe fatigue, depression, and a loss of muscle mass. Well, I don't want any of those. Thank you very much. It also says that there is a potential for psychological side effects like mood swings or increased irritability if the dosage is too high. Now, I can't imagine I'm going to need a high dose. That's something I was hoping that the consultation would discuss. Now, I went back to Gemini and I said, look, I'm 42. I've had all the kids I want to have. What are the real risks for me? So it went over blood viscosity, so the thick blood risk, how that is highly manageable when you monitor your bloods. If levels creep up, a simple blood donation or slight dosage adjustment usually fixes it. Okay, I'm comfortable with that. Cardiovascular health. Historically, there's been a lot of fear-mongering around it, but modern evidence shows that there's no cause for concern in terms of TRT increasing cardiovascular risk. Now, from my blood work, the only risk that I've got there is around high cholesterol, which is manageable through diet. So I'll see what happens with that. I'll keep an eye on that. I'm going to do a little bit of digging into that. And then prostate management. At 42, I'm entering the age where prostate monitoring becomes the standard regardless of TRT. So someone's going to be getting their finger up my butt to have a little feel around there when I go to the doctors.
What the hell was that? Mr. Griffin, that's a prostate exam.
So the risk could worsen an existing condition, an enlarged prostate, cancerous cells. Reality is you need to monitor it. If the levels stay stable, that's fine, and the risk is considered very low. And then the natural production shut down. It's not going to be a fertility problem for me because I've done having a family, but it could be a dependency problem. So if I decided to come off TRT, I could feel worse than when I started. That could be dosage dependent. If I'm on a very low dose, could not be much of an impact on that. And that's something that I'd be keen to explore with the doctor's consultation. And then the last one is around the estrogen imbalance. So could experience mood swings, water retention, gynecomastia. Apparently that comes down to dosage and frequency. So again, if you're being monitored and you're having regular consultations, that reduces that risk. The other risk, which you don't really think about, is the time and the money, because you're going to have to pay for this service, product, whichever route you go, and also you have to take the time to do 2 to 3 injections a week as well, and getting rid of the needles and all the stuff that goes along with that. And it's just something else to consider. Do you have time to do that? Are you good at keeping a routine? Are you good at remembering that you need to do that? Do you have a rhythm and a structure and a schedule? That's where I'm at, everyone. Next stage for me, I'm going to book onto the webinar. I'm going to learn a bit more. In the meantime, in the background, training-wise, I've switched up my training. I'm not doing CrossFit at the moment to help my back recover. I've had some back issues. I am doing more bodybuilding stuff. Doing resistance training, weight training. Eased off a bit in terms of the high intensity interval stuff. Well, I've eased off entirely. I'm just doing zone 2 cardio. That's a bit of a lifestyle change at the minute. As I sit here today, I think I'm probably just going to go ahead and have that consultation, and that will help me understand the costs that are involved with manual of doing it. That's what it comes down to a lot of the time for me, is how much is this going to cost? If it's £200 a month, then I'm not going to be able to do that. Whereas if it's 100 or 50 or somewhere in that range, then I can make it happen. I think that's all I've got to tell you. I've got to do the school run in about 15 minutes, so time that well. So I'm going to close out this video now. If you're liking the series, do let me know. Subscribe to the channel, hit the like. If you haven't watched the first 2, go back now and do that. I'm going to try and make these as regular as I can, depending on what's happening along the process. I know loads of you are really interested in the journey, and I really appreciate that. Help me out. Put a comment on, ask a question. Even if you haven't got a question, just an emoji, just get that algorithm working for me. Share it with a friend. All these things don't cost you anything, and they can really help motivate me to make more videos. And the more people that can see these videos, the more people might reach out and have a conversation. And that's really what is important to me, is that men out there who want to talk to somebody about it can take a first step to be able to do that. Whether that's me, whether it's their doctor, whether it's their mate, if by seeing this video, it encourages them to do that, that's fantastic. If you got this far, you've done so much for me already by watching the whole video. So thank you very much. I will absolutely make another one of these. But for now, see ya.